long story short, the surgery was effective. It did well. My body heals super fast. I overhealed myself and caused frozen shoulder, which it wouldn't allow me to move my arm.
Man.
And for literally 19 months, my arm wouldn't lift past here. So I would always have to try to grab on top of the shelf. And this is my motion for 19 months. I couldn't extend it all the way out. My arm, it wouldn't work. And then we had to do another surgery. We did a second surgery to clear out scar tissue. There was so much scar tissue built up that I had a quarter-size ball of scar tissue on the head of my arm. So anytime it would lift up, so your shoulder and your socket go here, and every time you lift up, it slides down to allow it to go straight up. And I have to do it on this side because I can't. So it allows them to go there. There was a giant ball of scar tissue there. So every time it would go here, my arm would dislocate and then relocate. So
now you go through this funk and you gain weight. Mm-hmm. Based on what I know, learn about you're about well over 240 pounds.
255 pounds was the highest.
Man.
Now during this,
and you talk about you talk about depression. There in one of your interviews where you were feeling in a state of mind that perhaps you have no idea if you were coming back from this. What was it like for you?
That's a little different. I don't put depression, and everyone puts depression on it. I don't want to say depression because it's not what was going through my head. Depression is not something that I had. There are people out there with depression. Yes. I had a loving family. I had friends. I had opportunities that I still went after. Sad? Was I sad? Yes. Did I ever have doubts that I would return? No. I never did have doubts. There are other people that had doubts, but that was what kept me going, what kept me striving to do better and more. There was tough times that I went through there. There was periods where I feel like nothing was going right. I felt like things weren't happening what I wanted to happen, or they weren't doing in the timely manner. But that was the thing, is that, knowing that I was coming back and the support that I have with my family, I made it back to do what I did today, or to this day.
And that's what I was going to ask you. How was your mental state during that time? But you just answered that.
For those kids that are out there, high school kids, wrestlers. Maybe I'm wrong, but I believe wrestlers make probably some of the best MMA fighters in the world. What is your training like when you're ready to go into camp? What is your training like? Do you run in the mornings? Do you do this in the gym?
Nah, it's all specific. It's all relative to what sport you're doing. So if it were wrestling, it would be specific to wrestling. If I was baseball, it'd be specific to baseball. You'd need to run 60-yard sprints to get to first base, and you need to learn how to slide. You need to learn how to swing and do visual training, things like that, strength conditioning. Whereas mine is completely different. I lift. I don't need to run. I walk on an incline at the end of the day to save my kneecaps and to save my hips. And I walk on an incline a couple days a week, but I train. And when I train, I focus 100% on training. When I'm there to train, I'm there to train. I'm not there just to pass time. I'm not there thinking about what girl I'm talking to or what party's happening later. I'm 100% committed to what I'm doing it there. So I give 100% commitment to that training. So whereas most people train, they just kind of go and say, if it were me playing basketball, there's people that grab the ball and they shoot, and they kind of wander around and grab the next ball and they shoot. And wander around and kind of talk to your friend, shoot. To me, that's time that's taken away from my deal, to where I would have, for me, I would be like, all right, I'm going to set up, 12 balls right here. I'm going to put a time limit, and I have 30 seconds to grab all these balls and shoot. And I just rapid fire. Time. I have 2 minutes to run and pick up all these balls, set them up, get back in there and start it back up. So I start timing that.
So you have your own personal discipline when you train.
Yeah.
Mentally and physically. You train 100%. because that's how you're going to fight, right? 100%. You're going to give it
Absolutely.
all. So that carries on to your fight.
It does.
Training.
Well, and I also, time. I also show up early, where most people, and I didn't know this as a kid growing up. Like, I didn't care. Practice at 4 o'clock. I'm just gonna show up at 4:05, 4:10. Well, I didn't realize at 4 o'clock when practice starts, and I show up at 4:10 or walk on the mats at 4:10, kind of lollygagging, and no one really calls you on that. Well, in 6 days of training, that's 1 hour of practice I missed out. But you don't think of it because it's only 10 minutes.
So you wake up at 6 now?
Me, I do. I wake up at 6. My body's like registered to wake up. Practice doesn't start till 9 o'clock or till 10 o'clock. And I might have privates prior to that. But I always show up 15 minutes early. I warm my body up, do my cycle of stretching, yoga, or whatever it is to warm my body, my joints and bones up. And then I go in there and I have full 100% intention to what I'm doing. And I'm intended for practice. Where I don't show up to practice and be like, all right, well, what are we doing today? It's like, I go in there and like, all right, we're going to learn something. Whatever we learn, at the end of the day, I have these 3 submissions that I want to go after. I have these 3 takedowns I want to go after. And I have these 3 escapes that I want to go after. Where I'm not getting taken down today. Or I'm going to take someone down. And I go in there with the mentality of like, I have to get this done or I don't have a successful day. And if I don't, if I get 2 or 3 done, I still feel successful because I went in for a target goal of what I wanted.
Now, do you decide that or your coaches help you?
I decide that. They decide what practice is. I don't know what practice is. I compete against them in practice and when we do our live rounds, things like that, where they don't allow you to do certain things. But I go in there with the mentality of knowing, like, again, if I was a baseball player, it'd be very different. If I was an MLB player or NBA player, it'd be different. Like, if I walked in and I'm like, all right, we're playing live today. I don't know basketball. I don't play it. So we're having a live game, a scrimmage game. It's going to be 15 minutes, 20 minutes. We're playing that. I need to get 10 3-point shots off. I need to get 20 points in the paint on, and that would be good for me for one game. And then I would just kind of focus on that. And everyone's like, oh, you're hogging the ball. It's like, not really. I'm practicing myself. There's a point where you practice with the team. There's a point where you practice yourself. Or you're playing 3 games with each other. And I don't know how the NBA, I'm just trying to correlate it to that. Because to me, if I go in there to wrestling, I know that, or to MMA, I know my goal is, all right, I'm going for 6 shots today. I have 5 rounds, 25 minutes. I need to find 6 shots. I want to take them down on every shot, but not every shot happens to take them down. I want to have, 7 attempts of submission. So if I'm ever on top of somebody, try to go for the submission in a way, and go for the submission when it's there. And if it's not there, I don't go for it. And I'm not getting taken down today. And there'll be times where I get taken down or I don't get taken down. But I'm going with intent to practice instead of just like, all right, I'm just going to get over this round. Like, I got 5 minutes. I'm just going to stall this out, or I'm just going to try to be as lazy as possible and let them take me down. I'm just going to lay there because I know they're not going to do anything to me, and I can get out when I want. And I used to train like that. Don't get me wrong. Like, I can control 5 minutes losing. I know how to lose for 5 minutes. Pretty phenomenal.
It's all right.
You're fine. We're good here. Yeah. Okay, so you are an MMA fighter, and hopefully we're going to see you fighting for the title.
I believe it.
Middleweight.
Let's go.
Welter?
No. Middleweight. Hell no.
I hope they're open to the public because I want to go.
No, you also have a podcast going on.
Yep.
Now, can we say her name?
Kendra Lust.
Kendra Lust. Beautiful woman, by the way. Gorgeous woman.
Yeah, she is.
My Lord God. and it's entertainment. So it's on YouTube, by the way. You just look for it. It's called
Beauty and the Beast
Beauty
podcast.
and the Beast. Beauty and the
Beauty
Beast.
and the Beast.
It is awesome. You're gonna learn a lot by watching it.
It's definitely educational.
Yes.
I told my wife about it. You're gonna have to watch it.
So right now, Julian, what's next for you? What's the next step? Are you just waiting, or?
To me, I need to heal. My body needs to heal. I am in the driver's seat. I don't have any pressure. I don't have anything. Everybody wants me to fight, but to me, I need to heal my body. I cut weight 4 times in 6 months.
Wow.
If all my fights would have happened, I would have 4 fights in 6 months, which most fighters get 5 fights in 1 year. That's the most that they had in 2020. Person had 5 fights in 1 year. Now they can have more. They can, there's possible. But in 6 months, I've already had technically 4. In another 6 months, that would be 8. And I haven't let my body rest. I went from 255 to 186. Then from, 210 to 186. Then from 210 to 186. Then 210 to 186. And the cuts just got harder and harder because they were 2 months apart every single time. My body just needs to heal. My hand needs to heal. My foot that I thought I broke needs to heal. And I need a skill build. Because now we're up at a different tier where people are like, all right, Julian, we need to start let's start throwing some people at him. Let's start taking him out. Let's see if he can prove himself even more. He's already proved himself. Let's put him with a tougher opponent.
So I was watching an interview with the famous Teddy Atlas, the trainer, boxing trainer. And he was mentioning one of the famous world champions, Oscar De La Hoya. He said that one of the problems that De La Hoya had was he fought everyone, right?
Yeah.
But he will never go back to the gym to build his skills as a fighter. And that is so important.
Yeah. Now, I know you have things going on here in Kansas City, Missouri, with a couple of players, actually 3 Chiefs players.
What's going on there? What kind of challenges?
I don't know if people know about it.
Wait. Prior to that, it was some very well-known, super famous, very attractive young musician, singer, actress, Miley Cyrus. What's up with that?
I did what it did. I asked her to be my Valentine. She agreed. And then she also wanted me to shave MC on my chest.
And
which
you
was
didn't?
No, heck no.
I was hoping to see Miley Cyrus here in for Thanksgiving one day.
Maybe someday. I mean, this is the thing is that and this goes to anyone listening. If a girl ever asks you to do something after you ask them out on a date, they don't really like you, and they're making a fool out of you. I don't care.
Yep.
And everyone, a lot of people were kind of bashing me on it, but at the same time, she's kind of joking around. I went back with another joke, and I believe that's what caused us to have a conversation longer than what most people can see.
And something good came out of that.
Yeah, it is. It did a lot of great things, but I just thought, most people, if you sit there and you say, hey, I will do this, anything for you, then you're kind of just like, I don't really like you anymore. I don't want to talk to you. You need that banter back and forth. You need to make sure that you're still a man or a female, vice versa. It doesn't matter which gender you're at, but it's just, you have to stand up for yourself. And everybody was upset because they wanted me to do something that they wish they could have done so that they can make fun of me for years to come. But now they sit there and they don't have anything to make fun of me, so they're going to sit there and continuously put me down, yet on the back end of it, I'm still having conversations with her. So it's like...
And now you decided to challenge 3 Chiefs football players. Who are they?
Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Tyreek Hill.
What kind of a game is it? Bingo or tennis?
No.
Badminton.
Oh, I'm sorry, badminton.
And this is...
And it's also pickleball. Pickleball.
Oh, wow.
Now, is the challenge on? Is it going to happen? Or
We're in the
working
process.
on it?
Yeah, we're in the process of getting everything down. We're talking to a bunch of local venues that are here. This is the thing. It's the biggest thing Kansas City has had since the Super Bowl. And with the pandemic lifting up and all of the mandates that are going away and all of the capacity rules that are happening, this city needs something to look forward to. And I've provided that, as well as the Chiefs players are coming in to provide the same exact thing to make a event that we can use for charity to help build a great cause of local. And it's one of those things that we have to find it right. Hopefully here in the next couple weeks, you'll find out a date and time. We are literally just talking, before we make any moves, before anything, we have to speak with the city to find when they're lifting everything up. Because it all depends. If you can have 100% capacity, we can put it in a location that the city could come to. But if you have to have a limited capacity where you still can only be around people in seats, then we only have a certain number of, of chairs to bring, and it won't be as popular. It'd be very difficult. So it all just depends on what the city does. And then once we get that going, then you'll see a date, you'll see a time, you'll see an event, you'll see a charity, and you'll see 4 faces that you guys love so much.
I would say just one for now. The other 3, I'm a Raiders fan, so there's a little division there. But no. I love football. I love what they're doing. I do.
So that means you're going to show up with, you're going to wear red and yellow for the first time ever.
Excuse me?
You're going to have to wear red and yellow.
No, me no comprende inglés. No, I'm a football fan. I love football. I have a lot of respect for the game, and teams that play good, they go to the Super Bowl. That's just a given. They have an excellent team, and thank you for doing this. For really bringing people together, bringing all these celebrities together. Now you are a celebrity here.
Yeah, I think I'm just a regular person that.
Yeah, but you're well known. You're ready to be known in the community. You're gonna have a big influence here in the community. So
charismatic, well-spoken, intelligent, and you're elevating Kansas City to
a whole different level.
A whole different level. I mean, it's like, how many times you hear about Kansas City? I mean, all they're the Chiefs, football, and every once in a while people hear jazz, and now we have.
See, and the thing about
MMA,
Julian,
an MMA fighter here.
He knows who he is. Julian knows who he is.
Very humble.
He's a humble person, but he's very straightforward. And I know a lot of these young people, men and women, will look up to you and says, you know what, I'm wrestling. I like to be there. Yeah. I like to see myself where Julian is right now.
Well, that's the thing though, is that like you don't look at me, like you can look at me and use me as an idol, but you have to idolize yourself prior to idolizing me. See, I never, like if you ask me who my favorite actor is, I can tell you who I love as an actor, but I don't idolize them. You can ask me who my favorite sports athlete is of all time. Stuff. I don't idolize these people because they're human. I idolize myself because that is the one person that counts. If I look at somebody else as something better than me or something that is just unreachable like that, then I would never put that in time and investment and knowledge into myself. Where, there's people that can sit there and tell you, oh man, this person played at this college, they were this years old, they got in a wreck at this day, they dated this person, they got a divorce, they did that, they were on here, they did this movie, they did that. And they just like break it down to you and you ask me a question, I don't even know who that person is. Yeah. And it's like, but if you ask me my story, I can tell you more about my story than anyone else's because I put time into me. And I don't think I'm a saint by any means. Like I've done, I've gotten into my fair trouble, nothing too bad. I never went to prison. I never went to jail. I did get in trouble with the law. They set me straight multiple times. I got in trouble with my family. I didn't do good in school. I've been kicked out of school. I've been brought back into school. And it was just, they're all learning curves, but I didn't ever give up on myself. I didn't ever stop believing in myself, and I didn't lose the hope that I had.
You learn from those mistakes. And unfortunately, not all our youth learn from all their mistakes, A good thing you did, and it's shaped you to be the person that you are, helped you with all that,
And the good thing is that your heroes came from your family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your dad, your abuela, you mentioned your grandmother, your grandfather.
And you're a perfect example of not giving up.
Nah, that's for sure.
31 months, not being able to
sure.
fight and the injury you overcame, and you never gave up. That was never in your head to give up.
So for all those kids that are there who want to fight, what does it feel like walking that path towards that cage, towards the octagon?
Oh man, I don't even know. I couldn't explain. I can't put it into words. Like there's some things that you can express to emotions. There's some things that you can put into place or relate to. But to express that to someone, if you don't know and you haven't done it yourself, then you probably won't understand that feeling. So I can't express to you what it is. It's scary. Like, wow. We've all been in fights, or you think about it, you've been in a fight. If, after the fight, we're planned to fight. Whereas other ones, sometimes you just do it off the bat, off the go, and then you're in there, and after it's done, you're talking to your friends. You're like, what just happened? This one, you know what's happened, and you train for it. So it's just like, when I walk to that cage, there's something is released to me when I hear my music.
There's a switch that turns on.
There's a switch that turns on, and it's not the friendly Julian, it's not the lovable Julian, it's the Julian that you suppress in life, and you don't let people see. It's one of your forms, and he comes out, and the world loves him, and that's the only place that he comes out at.
Well, we know you have another engagement here in the next few minutes.
Yes. Before we go, do you
so-
have a message for the youth out there, for parents that have kids that want to do something, but parents are more like, no, you shouldn't do this, you should do that. Do you have a message for?
Man, for the kids, don't ever give up on a dream. If you want it, go after it. The only thing that you have to do is you have to give 100% effort. You're going to educate yourself to do it. If you want to be an MLB player, if you want to be an NBA player, if you want to be an MMA fighter, well, a lot of those you're going to have schooling. I still went through schooling, and that's one thing you have to have. Even though I'm not saying college, but high school, you have to pass high school. You have to go in there and go after it. Educate yourself. Even if you don't like high school, you don't like the topics they do, educate yourself on the outside, learn new things. That's going to help build you as a person so that you can become an entertainer for later on. Because again, I only have an associate's degree, and I didn't have the greatest high school GPA. I didn't have any of that. But I educated myself by reading books or reading different things, subjects that I enjoyed, and I didn't have to pay anybody. The internet is easily accessible, but I went 100% into what I want, and I legit told you guys, I would give you my podcast setup. I bought a podcast setup.
Thank you.
We need it, because he feels sorry for us because
our production is going up soon, coming soon. Don't forget.
That's one of it. I wanted to be a commentator as well for MMA. I wanted to do that and start myself up. And I bought an entire podcast system. And for those 31 months that I was injured, I would watch the fights. I'd put it on mute, and I would talk to the podcast, or I'd talk to the microphones and everything, and I wouldn't ever put them out, but I would talk and listen to myself back. That is 100% committed. Instead of watching with friends, I watch it by myself, and I would talk through the process of what's happening by myself so I can entertain it to where now I have a job at FAC here, a local deal, and I can speak that. So when I mean 100% committed, go all in. Nothing is doing too much on what you want. And for the families and for the parents, you have no control over your children. And in all honesty, if they want to walk outside and you tell them to stay inside, they can. There are certain things that you have to let them figure out themselves. I was the worst one. I had to go down bad paths to figure out where I'm at. There's things that you can help them out at. There's things you can do. But if they have a dream, you have to encourage it. You have to allow it, and don't try to rip them out. Don't let them ruin their dream because you have a dream for them. They'll be able to do better at what they want.
Wow,
Yes,
that's amazing. I want to see you on the Joe Rogan podcast. And one day making movies in Hollywood. There we go. Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching, Julian.
Appreciate it.
Once again, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
An
so
honor.
much.
It's a pleasure to have you. Remember, don't look back. Look forward. Stay positive. Don't look back. Till next time.